Welcome to Chemistry Tutorial 360. Today we are going to learn how to balance combustion reactions. However, this is the general equation of combustion reactions of chemistry. Only this compound changes in combustion reactions. This may be pentane. The general formula of alkane like this. So if you place here 5, then you will get this. This is hexane, right? So to balance combustion reaction, this is the example of combustion of pentane. To balance this reaction, you have to follow these 4 steps. First, you have to balance carbon, then you have to balance hydrogen, then you have to balance oxygen, and if you get any fraction, then you have to multiply all the equation by 2, and that gives you the whole number. However, we will learn it step by step how to balance this combustion reaction. Okay, to balance this combustion reaction, in the first step, what we will do, in the first step we will balance. Okay, we will balance step 1. We will balance the carbon, right? We will balance the carbon. So to balance carbon, what can you do? Here on the left hand side you have just 5 carbon, and on the right hand side you have just 1 carbon, right? That is 5 carbon will produce 5 molecule of carbon dioxide. However, 5 carbon, to balance 5 carbon, you can place here 5, that gives you 5. So let me place that 5 oxygen. So you have to place here 5, right? And then here you have to write water. Okay, in the second step, what will I do? In the second step, I will balance the hydrogen, right? Okay, here we have 12 hydrogen, but on the right hand side we have just 2 hydrogen. So you have to take you have to make it 12, since in the left hand side we have 12. So you can place here 6, that gives you 12 hydrogen. So let me write the equation again. C5H12 plus oxygen, 5 carbon dioxide plus 6 molecule of water, that gives you 12 hydrogen. So your carbon is balanced, your hydrogen is balanced. Now your target is to balance oxygen, right? Okay, in steps 3 you are going to balance oxygen, right? Okay, to balance oxygen, what will you do? Okay, on the left hand side you have just 2 oxygen, right? You have just 2 oxygen. But on the right hand side you have here 5 times 2, that is 10 oxygen, plus here you have 6 oxygen, that is 16 oxygen, right? So in the left hand side you have just 2 oxygen, on the right hand side you have just 16 oxygen. So you have to place something that will give you 16 oxygen. So if you place here 8 times 2, that is 16. So 16 oxygen, this will be balanced. So now let me write the equation like this. 8 oxygen, then you have 5 carbon dioxide plus 6 molecule of water. So now this is the balanced equation, right? So now by following this type of steps you can balance this equation. Okay, let me show you the second way to balance this equation. Okay, let me write the equation first. C5H12 plus oxygen equal to carbon dioxide plus water, right? Okay, to balance this equation, I have to draw a table like this, right? In the left hand side we have 5 carbon, so let me write here, right? And here we have 12 hydrogen, so let me write here. And here we have 2 oxygen, so let me write here. On the right hand side we have 1 carbon, so let me write here. And here we have 2 oxygen, plus here we have 1 oxygen. That gives me 3 oxygen, and here we have just 2 hydrogen, right? Okay, to balance the carbon, what can you do? You can multiply here by 5, that gives you 5. Remember, this 5 must come before this atom that is here. So you have to place here 5. If you place here 5, the number of oxygen will be 10 plus 1, that is 11. Totally you are getting 11 oxygen. So let me update my oxygen. 10 plus 1, that gives me 11, right? 11 oxygen. Okay, so our carbon is balanced. Now we'll balance the hydrogen. Here we have 12, here we have 2. So to balance the hydrogen, I can multiply here by 6, that gives me 12. Okay, this 6 must come before this hydrogen that is here. So I have to place here 6. If you place here 6, the number of oxygen will be 6 plus 10, that is 16. So you have to update your oxygen and you have to write here 16, right? 16. Okay, but in the left hand side you have just 2 oxygen. So but you need 16 oxygen. So what can you do? You can just multiply here by 8, that gives you 16 oxygen. So this 8 must come before this oxygen that is here. So you have to place here 8. So this is the balanced equation. So you have learned to balance this equation in 2 ways. I think I should get a like in this video for this things. So however, let me take another example to balance. Okay, now we are taking here hexane C6 is 14 plus oxygen, and that gives me carbon dioxide plus water, right? Okay, step 1, what we are going to do? Okay, step 1, we are going to balance carbon first. So here we have 6 carbon, but here we have 1 carbon. So to balance the carbon, I can place here 6, or 6 carbon will produce 6 molecule of carbon dioxide. That is since 1 carbon dioxide molecule has 1 carbon, right? So if I place here 6, then the number of carbon will be equalized. So let me write the equation. 14 plus oxygen, 6 molecule carbon dioxide plus water. Okay, after step 1, we are going to steps 2. In steps 2, we'll balance the hydrogen, right? So on the left hand side we have 14 hydrogen, and in the right hand side we have just 2 hydrogen, right? So we need 14 hydrogen here, but already we have 2. But if I place here 7, that gives me here we'll get, if I place here 7, that gives me 14 hydrogen, and 14 hydrogen is balanced. So let me write the equation. Oxygen 6 molecule carbon dioxide plus 7 molecule of water, right? So in step we have balanced the hydrogen, right? Now we have to balance the oxygen. So in step 3 we have to balance the hydrogen, right? Balance the oxygen. Okay, here we have 2 oxygen. In the left hand side we have just 2 oxygen, and on the right hand side we have here 6 times 2, that is 12 oxygen, plus we have here 7 oxygen, that is we have here 19 oxygen. We have 19 oxygen in the right hand side, and we have just 2 oxygen in the left hand side, right? So to balance to balance this equation, we have to multiply this oxygen by 19 by 2. That is, we have here 2 oxygen, right? If I place 19 by 2, then these two cancel out, right? This means 19 by 2 times 2, that gives me 19, right? Okay, you have understood what I want to say to you. Okay, so I have to write this equation like this: C6 is 14 plus 19 by 2 oxygen, that is 6 carbon dioxide plus 7 molecule of water. Okay, so this is the balanced equation. If we get any fraction, right, if we get any fraction, then we have to multiply the whole equation by 2. Step 4, multiplied by 2. Okay, so if we multiply by 2, then what will happen? We are getting 2 molecule of hexane plus 19 molecule of oxygen equal to 12 molecule of carbon dioxide plus 14 molecule of water, right? Okay, 19 by 2 oxygen means 19 by 2 into 2, that is 19 oxygen, right? So this is the balanced equation. Okay, let me balance this equation in our second method. So how I do this? Okay, to do this I have to write this equation again: 14 plus oxygen, that is carbon dioxide plus water. Okay, so to balance this equation, let me draw a table first. In the left hand side we have 6 carbon, here we have 14 hydrogen, and here we have 2 oxygen, and here we have 1 carbon, here we have 2 oxygen, plus here we have 1 oxygen, that gives you 3 oxygen, and here you have 2 hydrogen. Okay, so to balance the carbon, I can multiply here by 6, that gives me 6, and this 6 must come before this carbon that is here, so I have to place here 6. If I place here 6, the number of oxygen will be updated, so we are getting a 6 times 12 plus 1, that is 13 oxygen, right? So let me update my oxygen. 13 12 plus 1, that gives me 13 oxygen. Okay, so now let me balance the hydrogen. Here we have 2, here we have 14. So to balance the hydrogen, I can just simply multiply by 7, that gives me 4. This 7 must come before this hydrogen that is here, so I have to place here 7. If I place here 7, the number of oxygen will be updated, so we are getting 7 oxygen 2. So I have to write here 7 oxygen, right? So 12 plus 7, that gives me 19 oxygen, right? 19 oxygen. Okay, 19 oxygen. Now my turn is to balance the oxygen. Here we have 2, but here we have 19, right? Okay, if I multiply here by 19 over 2, then these two will cancel out and we'll get 19, right? Remember, this 19 over 2 must come before this oxygen that is here, so I will place here 19 over 2, and you can say that this is the balanced equation, but many people feel problem over fraction, so you have to multiply the whole equation by 2, and thus you will get the balanced equation. So let me multiply the whole equation by 2, and we are getting here 12 carbon dioxide plus 14 molecule of water. So this is the balanced equation. Thank you for viewing this video. Be well.